The Kaye Dee and Motormouth Radio Show. We're on top of the world. On RadioDNANetwork.com and WEOM 103.1 FM. Hi everybody, what's up? This is Kaye Dee.
And this is Motormouth.
Coming at you from Atlanta. We're going to do a quick Atlanta, Georgia update because there's a lot going on here as usual.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, we're going to focus a little bit on what's happening in Atlanta with Housewives series, the new Georgia gun laws. Oh my gosh, what else? And I want to get a little bit about the NBA thing. What is it, Motormouth? Is it the National Basketball Association drama?
Yeah, National Basketball.
And I cannot think of the man's name. Him and his mistress and his wife are getting on my last nerve. Oh, my goodness.
Right. But those Rachel's slurs or comments that he made,
yeah,
it cost him a franchise.
It did.
Yes.
And I guess to me what brings all of these subjects together is racism and the portrayal of black folks, men, women, children, just our portrayal overall in the media.
Right.
You know? Mm-hmm. And I was talking with a buddy of mine about the franchise, and he was saying that he thought it was ridiculous that they just kind of, how can I put it? Like, okay, in protest, they just took off their jerseys and flipped them around.
Okay.
But I guess a lot of people are debating about whether they should have done a little bit more than that, because this guy has been under investigation for quite a while, based on what I'm understanding. It's not like it's the first time something like this has surfaced about him.
Exactly.
And, it just kind of brings into thought about black folks overall, how we used to be, even though I know it's a different era. It's almost like we used to protest a little bit more, and I think we've gotten a little bit more complacent overall about things that happen regarding us as a group of people in the media. Mm-hmm. At least that's my opinion. What's your take on it, Motormouth?
Well, I think it's on the different levels of what's going on, because, I mean, these people also got their careers to worry about. True. Their livelihood. And so in the past, it have been more of a grassroots civil rights movement, as they would classify it, as in the idea of the professional arena. Right. And I guess, don't nobody really want to be a troublemaker, within that profession, especially when it didn't actually, it involved them, but they wasn't the one that the statements of certain things was portrayed to. Like as you say, it came through his mistress, of her recording that conversation, and she leaked it out. So that's kind of different than the direct contact with the, this owner. And I'm quite sure there have been deals, in the past, or situations in the past, where racial slurs and comments have been made directly to a player or something. And it seemed like they don't really bring it out because it could mean their trade, could mean them bucking against the system. And just like the owner expressed, this is something that's been going on, since the 1800s, if not earlier, 1700s, about how they view black people. Yeah.
I guess for me, I guess it's maybe easier said than done because I don't have an NBA contract worth millions. Right. So, it's easy to sit back and say what I would do in their shoes, but I really don't know. The thing that bugged me about the whole situation was just generally what he said. It wasn't directed at one player in particular, but it was a comment about black people overall. And even though I'm not an NBA fanatic, I do realize that when you look at the lineup of the players that work for this guy, they're all black.
All right, even down to the coach, a former Atlanta Hawks player.
It's almost like he didn't want his mistress, even though she's saying she's not the mistress. I'm like, yeah, right, sure you're not. That's what you want us to believe. But anyway, it's almost like he's trying to. Well, I don't know. I just see it as racist, and to me, they should have just taken a stronger stand, other than flipping their jerseys around. But it is what it is, and they punished them, and I think they had to punish him because, like I say, it got to the point where it was so out in the open until they had to do something publicly, I suppose. But this guy, based on what I've read, there's actually some lawsuits against him and his wife. Apparently they have other interests in other things like real estate. And there was something about an alleged lawsuit that's been going on for a while about them not wanting to rent to people, minorities, Latinos, Hispanics, So to me, there's like a little, there's a little smoke there, as they say. And the guy is what he is. But, it would have been nice to have taken a different stance. And like I said, I know it's easy for me to sit back and say, and I know it's about money. And I guess that's what I'm trying to get down to. Mm-hmm. And we gotten to a point as a group of people, people of color where, everybody has a price given, but there's always a price to pay. It's almost like we have forgotten how to be dignified on a different level. Why is it that every other group can attack us from every angle imaginable, and we sit back and I still think we've gotten complacent about it. I just really do. Even if it is about losing $1.
Right. You got other people, that take a different stance, on different things and everything. But, to me, I think it got bent a little bit more out of proportion than what it really is.
Yeah.
Because to me, it's not surprising. It wasn't nothing new, So
no, it's not.
It wouldn't surprise me, like all the NBA owners as white or something look at their slaves a certain way. And especially of the older generation.
Yeah, because this guy's in his 80s.
They grew up that way. This was the way America was or is, to them, in their eyesight. So I just don't think as, certain things go and that they're going to release certain things. I give the man credit to the point he got blacks on his team. Because he won a winning team, and it has been shown or proven that, some black athletes are better than the white athletes. I'm not going to try to say they all are, but, they're more competitive. Because you can see how the ratio have changed in the NBA, over the years. You take 20 years, 30 years ago, there wasn't that many. So, but the owners and everybody have always been the same. It's no more different when Jackie Robinson came into the league in baseball. The same thing happened,
right.
The N-word, this, that, and that. He had to prove himself. Right. And then after he proved himself, there still was people calling him names and different things.
Yeah. I get that. And
right.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's surprising because you're right. Any older white guy in his 80s, I wouldn't expect for him, really. It wouldn't be shocking at all
right. That's
if he felt that way. Let's keep that real. So that's not how I'm looking at it. But
especially, when you take in consideration the type of money. Even though it don't make the difference of the money because you have some of the lower classes, of the other ethnic groups that look at, black people a certain way. They all stereotype them or us.
But my thing is this, Motor Mouth. I'm feeling what you're saying, but I still go back to if we got into a point overall, we can just straight up be broadened out image wise. That's it. And I guess reality is maybe we have.
Maybe in so many ways, that's true. But in so many ways, the actual struggle of the black people for righteousness and equality have been lost. Through the generations of a lot. Because you get with a lot of young blacks now, they don't even feel the racial tension that we felt in growing up. Or what we actually went through. The mission. Of what our ancestors sacrificed their lives for,
Right.
Because many of them die trying to uphold their dignity.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's the whole point that I'm trying to make because, moving along is another example like the reunion show with the Real Housewives of Atlanta, which is the highest dollar-wise anyway, established franchise of the group of franchise of Housewives. Atlanta is number one. And the thing that bugged me, yes, I'll be the first one to say, yeah, it's entertaining. Yes, it was interesting. And no, I did not look at the whole thing, but I will admit I got curious enough. Well, I did go back and look at a clip of the reunion show, which is what I want to focus on for a moment. Because, it was a hot mess. It was a hot mess. But let's keep it real. In the world of reality TV, a hot mess makes hot dollars. You know what I mean? That's what makes the ratings, and that's what makes people tune in, and that's how Bravo gets paid. That's how they get paid. But the thing that bothers me again is the actual portrayal, and this time is black women. And the thing that kind of irritates me is like the problem is we don't have enough balance in enough arenas yet. We just don't. for me to sit back and say that it's okay for me to look at black women clawing each other's down, beating each other across the head with this lady had a was the lady that used to be Miss America or whatever, Miss Kenya Moore had a, what do you call, like a scepter, the little thing like when you're on a throne.
Okay.
And this woman calls on the thing with a bullhorn and yelling in this lady's face, yelling in Hosea Williams' granddaughter. What's her name? I
don't know.
Motor Mouth was like, I don't know. What's the lady's name? It's Hosea Williams' granddaughter. Portia Stewart. That's her name. Portia Stewart. Anyway, Portia Stewart and Kenya Moore got into this knockdown, drag out. Knocked the lady across the head. Yelled the bullhorn in her face, called her out of her name. Drugged the woman across the floor by her hair. Like, oh my God. And they're dressed in beaded gowns, high heel shoes, and everything. It was a hot, ghetto, fabulous mess. And people loved it. And like I say, I'll be the first one to say it was entertaining, it was downright funny, and some people said she had it coming. But to me, let's look at the bigger picture. For me, I'm just really kind of frustrated with seeing 3 continuous stereotypes of black women continuously throughout the years from the 1800s on up to 2014. You got the portrayal, the stereotype of Mamie, or Mammy, and then you've got the stereotype of the Jezebel, the over-sexualized black woman. And then you got the stereotype of, I'm going by memory, what do you call it? Sapphire, sassy, man-hating, snappy, For me, it's the same stereotype. It's just dressed up in a different package.
Right.
All in the name of entertainment. And I still say, let me stress, entertainment is fun, it's interesting. But the problem is when you have these same 3 stereotypes dressed up and aimed at a group of people overall for the sole purpose of degrading or dehumanizing a group of people, and you don't have enough balance in other arenas, it's a problem. It's a problem. And like you said, I just feel like we've gotten very complacent about it again.
Right.
We've gotten just a little too comfortable with it. And if you look at what's really going on, from my standpoint anyway, I guess it's hard for us to sit back and complain about it when in this particular situation with the Housewives show, we didn't have another group aimed at us. We had the fight amongst ourselves.
Okay.
You got black women calling each other, like this lady called this lady, what did she call her? A stupid hoe. I'm just going to say what she said. So it goes back to, what can we say on some level? I guess it's all about $1 again. So again, are we able to be brought out? I guess we are.
Yeah, because
everybody's got a price.
Well, got to look at, reality TV shows or however you want to say. They all are script out. And
on some level, they sure are.
They script out because they're not just putting them on and you thinking of reality that is just free going. That's not the way they work.
You're thinking old school documentaries,
right.
Cinema Verite was really documentaries.
Right.
It's not that way anymore.
And because I've been involved with a couple of people trying to put on some reality shows and just trying to make it fit the format of what the channels or the networks want. So you have to go into that, looking at those individuals who's trying to find a career,
right,
and what they're willing to do in order to get that dollar so that they can have a career. Work in the industry. So it's always been like that. Blacks have been limited to exactly what they can do. You don't have a lot of Bill Cosbys out there that can make it and do what they want to do. But when you look at Bill Cosby, the way he came into the industry from being a comedian, he came in, I could remember him doing Aesop Fables.
Right.
And he broke in from the educational market into regular television and different things, and then Mission Impossible or whatever shows that he used to do back then.
He kept his,
and they kept their certain ethnics and standards about what they was going to do
and what they were not going to do.
Right, and they
regardless
had
of the money.
Right,
regardless of the money that was on the table, and that's all I'm trying to point out. Don't get me wrong, money is wonderful. Let's not be stupid here. But at what point, just like we were talking earlier before we started recording about Dave Chappelle, Cat Williams, and who else? Oh,
Tyler Perry, all
Tyler
of them.
Perry,
all of them.
Like at what point do you say what you're going to do and what you're not going to do?
Right. Well, I guess
DMX. I mean, it's just like Cat Williams walked away. Not Cat Williams, but Dave Chappelle walked away from $50 million.
Right.
$50 million because of things that he decided he was not gonna do.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can't blame. I know, quite a few people that way. I have a good friend, Tiger Graham. He, acted and did things with Tyler Perry, but, he refused to do anything that would degrade his manhood whatsoever, because he got children. Because he tell me all the time, I got children, and I cannot do this or do that or anything to expect my children to have respect for me.
Right.
He won't do no type of drag. He won't do any type of gayness or anything that make him be anything other than a man.
Mm-hmm. Because his image, a man.
Right. He ain't going to cross dress. He's not going to do anything. And just about all of the black actors out there have done that one way or another, especially the black male.
Yes,
even down to what's his name? Everybody, the one that had the tax problem, Wesley Snipes, and Denzel Washington. I mean, they all have done that.
Yeah, it's almost like when they get to a certain point in their career, I don't want to say it's mandatory. I don't want to get into all of the reasons why I think it has.
Well, they find a script that way for them.
a way to make them less manly. Let's say, is there such a term as masculine? Well, less masculine. Let's just put it that way.
But
it's almost like it's required in order to move up the ladder when you get to a certain point. That's
and I think it's more noticeable, in black entertainers, male entertainers.
It is.
But just about all the white males entertainers, that's on television right now is portraying the same image of a man. Mm-hmm. Because I can name shows, even little sitcoms or funny comedian shows, and all the men have that little flair in their acting skills or what they portraying that they might be gay. And then you got some that just come straight on out that are gay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so why the media is portraying that, that's a good question.
Yeah, my thing is, if you are gay and you're coming out and you're acting in a role when you're gay, then cool, because you're being who you really are. You're just acting, doing your craft. But why is it if you're not gay and you're straight male and you're African American, and you're right, it's happened to other groups also, but why is it that you have to wear a dress and demasculate, make yourself less masculine if you're not gay? Why is it almost like that it's a requirement for them to go through that phase in order to move up?
Well,
and do things on a different level. And I'm not going to get into why I think it really is what it is, but it's just something to debate and think about.
Well, on the other hand, look, moving right along with time, and just looking at overall programming that's on television, it kind of make you wonder, what are they trying to do? Because the market have moved that way tremendously. Right. I mean, look at the churches now.
Right.
Okay. At one time, you wasn't going to be gay or anything like that in the church.
Right.
I don't have people debate about if it was really in the scripture that gayness or funny action or non-procreating action was actually cast out of the church. But I know many churches that did not allow that. And now it could be the minister, it could be the bishop, or it could be the deacon, it could be choir members, choir directors, whatever, that they allow in this, and really what's going on. Yeah. Make you wonder that, for when children sit back and how they might view of what actual adulthood is about,
right?
Which they get ready to be someday. And
if you think about it, it's not just the television industry, it's the music industry, it's any form of entertainment that you can really think about.
Right.
And I guess reality is, I'm not just trying to focus on the black portrayal in the media, but I am black, so yeah, it's going to be what I'm going to normally think about from that angle. And to me, you have to think about what the word entertainment really means, and because it's television programming. There's a reason why it's called programming, people. Think about what it's doing to the masses overall.
Yeah, the mental television.
Right. Like they say, life imitates art. And everybody's not going to look at entertainment as strictly entertainment. You have enough people walking around in delusional worlds right now They really think that they're Nene Links and they're walking up and down the streets in Atlanta. This is serious as they want to be thinking they're going to be the next reality TV star.
Yeah, but also, when you take that in consideration, you have to, also look at it. Why is it American movies, American entertainment, and everything that's really gearing to that? Because there's some countries that don't even allow the programming of a certain nature to even air.
And then there's some countries that don't even allow our American produced movies to be aired because
that's what I'm talking about.
It disintegrates their society.
Right.
And they don't want it. Even again for a dollar sign. Everything is not worth a dollar.
Now, this is here. Now, with all this stuff going on that we're talking about, and looking at the American economy, and looking at what's been really said about the American economy, do you think this could play, I'm going to say, a lot of matter in the U.S. dollar? Losing its value and everything because people no longer respect it no more. In fact, I read something just the other day, I think out of 180 years, 82 years, America get ready to lose their number one status among the other countries of the world. Due to this factor. Not saying exactly due to the entertainment factor, but just the deteriorating values.
Yeah, and it is about money. And let's keep it real. There's a major movie distribution center. I mean, not center, but a system where we would, especially action movies. I mean, that used to be number one as far as, distribution worldwide. And like you say, the market has changed so much until it is possible that we're losing money because if they don't want it, they don't want it.
Yeah.
Like if you notice that a lot of the, let's say, mainstream entertainers like Miley Cyrus and all that kind of thing, they've got to the point where they've been blocked from other countries with, they don't want her to come over and perform.
Yeah.
Rihanna's show guy. I mean, there's a lot of other countries that are a lot more conservative than we are, and they just don't want certain things to be portrayed. The things that we're very comfortable with over here.
Destroy their values.
Yeah, their value system, regardless of whether you agree with it or not, it's their choice.
Exactly.
But along the same line of the church and everything, and what's happening in Atlanta is interesting to me. I'm going to switch gears a little bit. There was a guy representing the Catholic Church in Atlanta about the gun law in Georgia. I'm like, oh my goodness. He's saying regardless of what laws been passed in Georgia, we would not have guns up in here. It's not going to happen.
Right.
What do you think about this gun law? I don't know if the world knows, but in Atlanta, Georgia, now you can pack a gun in a restaurant, in the bar. You can take it in the airport. You can take it to church. I'm like, what in the world is going on? Guns? Do we not have enough problems with violence in Atlanta?
Well, in some ways, I could see the passing of the bill. Because there's too many people just in Georgia that's losing their lives. And in some cases, if they were protected or have their weapons or something, they might have a chance to still be here. But then again, with the idea that certain businesses are at risk now because of people having guns, and able to walk into their buildings, or are they still allowed to reject them or what? Because I don't see myself having a nightclub, a church, a restaurant, a gas station, or anything that I have to worry about somebody packing something, especially when I done invested into security system, alarm system. Let me know when somebody walking into my place of business that they got a gun. The alarm system, So, but yet, you just got so much, even to the point where they can pack the guns in schools.
Yeah, schools are also in that same category.
Except the university. They didn't allow the campuses of the university where the students can walk around.
And you know what's kind of ridiculous to me about that? The universities, especially down by Georgia Tech and downtown, those are the main locations. Remember they were robbing all these students?
Exactly.
Robbing them and for laptops and cell phones. It was really stupid for a while. I don't know if it's even eased up, but it was ongoing. It was crazy.
Well, George, so a lot of the campus tried to set up their own security system, video security, trying to address that problem.
Right.
And to me, that was one of the main reasons why the bill was introduced.
Yeah.
And then the main reason why it was introduced was still rejected from them, that they still don't have the right to do so. That was one of the things that they did not give the rights of carrying a weapon to.
I still think it's crazy, especially the thing that really is most bizarre to me. Okay, why would you want to go in a bar where they're serving alcohol, packing a gun?
Yeah.
Hello? I mean, because, let's just throw some alcohol on the fire, let them bring gun. What?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just think it's insane. It's ridiculous to me. Mm-hmm. Like people give somebody else a reason who's getting hot-headed over something stupid, because it's normally over something stupid, to be able to, I mean, come on. Think about the amounts of times you cut the TV on in Metro Atlanta and there's a shooting outside a nightclub. You think it's going to get better or worse now that you can really walk around toting a gun? And I mean, I get it, but is that going to really solve the problem? And what's interesting to me, I was talking to 2 police officers. I was at an event, and this was the day that the gun law passed, and they were talking about it. Mm-hmm. They were definitely 150% against it.
Yeah, make their job harder.
Yeah, they said it honestly feels like it puts their lives more in danger now.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know. I just, I guess some people like it. I just don't think that bringing more heat to something that's already heated is going to solve the problem. We have enough violence overall in Atlanta. We had the thing at FedEx, a week ago, mm-hmm. where an employee went and did like a mass shooting. We have more mass shootings overall as a nation now than I think we've had in a while. The whole thing is getting ridiculous. But I'm just focusing on Metro Atlanta. I just don't think it's a good thing, but it's a done deal. What can we say? It's a done deal. Mm-hmm. I don't know. But anyway, that's my thought for the day.
Okay.
Regarding Metro Atlanta. Hope all is well in your neck of the woods, folks.
Yep. I understand that. And maybe the gun laws changes might be coming to your neighborhood soon. Who knows?
We're talking about staying your ground up to this point. Good gracious, we better look at what's happening right here in good old Georgia.
Yes, now they got more room to stand their grounds.
Yeah.
Because they're allowed to pack the weapon now.
Packing heat on a different level. Anyway, Motor Mouth, I'm going to close it out. I hope all is well with you guys. I hope you have a wonderful day and a wonderful week. This is Kaye Dee.
And enjoy the summer weather that's coming up. We're still in springtime, but this is Motor Mouth signing off to you.
Peace and grace.
Grace and peace.
Enjoy your day. You're listening to Kaye Dee and Motor Mouth.